Just like other NBA greats, Steph had a couple of memorable moments in unforgettable games under his name, and here's some of them.
7 seconds left. Are you kidding me? Curry to win.
But for today's video, I'll be showing the top 5 games of the Chef, and we'll be breaking down each of them to see what made them so iconic. January 27th, 2018. The match at hand was the Dubs going up against the visiting Celtics, two stacked teams with a winning record, treating the fans with an appetizer to what could have been a potential matchup in that year's finals. The big guns came out to play, and this matchup certainly had a big game feel to it. For the Dubs, you've got KD, Clay, and Draymond. And for the men wearing green, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Marcus Smart all suited up for this heavyweight bout. But none of the big names that I just mentioned would play bigger than the two smallest competitors of both teams. Right from the opening tip, it was clear as day that the night belonged to Steph and Kyrie. Both players slugged it out as they traded bucket for bucket in what was considered by many as one of the classic duels in recent memory.
Kyrie Irving goes right at the lane, spins, gets inside, left-handed off the glass.
You love him forever. I know how you can speak about Charles Oakley coaching him.
As the two elite point guards would exchange haymakers, the game went down to the wire with less than 2 minutes remaining in the game. In case you didn't know, the Dubs choked and gave up a 17-point lead in the previous matchup versus Boston. Learning from their past mistake, the Chef made sure that there was no encore performance this time around. Tied at 95, Curry delivered the go-ahead three to give the lead back to the Dubs.
Curry for three, bang!
And in the next offensive possession, the Chef puts the game away with a smooth sailing layup.
Green will reset. Curry being chased by multiple Celtics to the basket, layup, bank shot.
Steph just became unhinged in the fourth and scored 13 points in the final 1 minute and 42 seconds of the game to give the Dubs the W, 105-109. The Chef cooked 49 points on efficient shooting, 16 for 24 from the field. He also knocked down 8 threes and made 9 out of 10 from the charity stripe. He also added 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals to puff up his stat sheet. Meanwhile, Uncle Drew had 37 on the night, but that wasn't enough to steal the spotlight away from Steph. Right after the game, Curry talked about his duel with Kyrie, and here's what he had to say. The way he started the game tonight was pretty crazy. We tried to bring the best out of each other. Tonight was one of those nights, just a fun way to play. Kyrie was also interviewed right after the game, and he responded by saying, "Oh yeah, I've been going against him for the last 7 years. This special team that they have now, adding KD, you've seen how they've kind of transformed from the first year they won it to now being 2-time champions. The bench, everyone. It's always a high-level game." It was definitely a night to remember for both players and fans, but in the end, the Chef just brought a little more sauce than Kyrie. To be able to cement yourself as one of the greats, a career-defining moment is quite necessary. I mean, MJ dropped 63 in the Boston Garden to let Larry Bird know that there's a new sheriff in town.
Bird played pretty well defensively against Jordan there.
You gotta hang on Jordan's shooting hand.
LeBron proclaimed himself as the new king when he took over by scoring the last 25 points in the game versus the Pistons in 07. Well, if there's a game that officially elevated Steph Curry's name as the greatest shooter on the planet, then it had to be the game that fell on the night of February 27th, 2013 at MSG. It was the Warriors versus the Knicks squaring off inside the world-famous Madison Square Garden. And little did everyone know back then that Steph was about to put up a shooting spectacle which the world has never seen before.
For three. Got it. What a night.
You better look out. That guy is hot.
Curry for three.
Despite being undermanned and missing the services of their bigs, Andrew Bogut and David Lee, the baby-faced assassin torched the Knicks by raining down 11 three-pointers on his way to a 54-point night on 64% shooting from the field while tallying 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals. And what's even more impressive about this feat was that he played all 48 minutes and was literally a shooting machine that didn't slow down one bit. The Knicks played as spoilers though and brought the L to the Warriors 105-109. But that didn't matter that much because everyone was still buzzing about Steph's performance, and we can all say that this game served as a precedent for the three-point revolution that changed the NBA landscape. His former teammate Harrison Barnes recalled what happened that night, and here's what he had to say. "It's not just like, this guy's hot right now. It's like, something big is happening." Raymond Felton also remembers this particular night where he was tasked to guard Steph and said, "My main thing is to keep playing. Like I said, once a guy gets it going like that, there's nothing I can really do. He had an unbelievable night. The basket was as big as the ocean for him." Meanwhile, Doris Burke was one of the lucky media people who witnessed Steph's historic feat, and she was amazed at the things that unfolded that night. It never crossed my mind that this individual would basically change the definition of what is and is not a quality shot in the NBA. And having listened to Steve Kerr in those coaching meetings that we are fortunate to sit in pregame, where he talks so eloquently about how much Steph changes an opponent's defensive scheme, how much further out they're forced to contend, how that shape shifts the defense layout on the floor. It's incredible. Steph has been around the league for quite some time now, but it wasn't until last year that he set his highest scoring output in his career. On January 3rd, 2021, Curry opened the new year and the new NBA season with a bang by lighting up the Blazers with 62 points on 18 out of 31 shooting from the field, coupled with 8 threes and hitting 18 of 19 free throws to blow the Blazers out of the gym 137 to 122.
Curry from deep. 59! Why not? Front court. Draymond finds him another three. Got it! 62!
Curry was in the zone from the get-go as he dropped 21 points in the first quarter alone. And on top of that, the chef did it by hitting shots from the most difficult angles possible. He also racked up 5 rebounds and 4 assists on the side to leave the Blazers in awe. Lillard had 32 and CJ McCollum had 28, but their total output was not enough to put out that fire that Curry created. James Wiseman had a front row seat to the show that Curry put up and even couldn't count how many shots Curry sunk that night. He was making every shot within like 10 seconds and we couldn't even keep up. Just like everyone else, Steve Kerr was in marvel at what he witnessed that night, and here's what he had to say. "It was just a brilliant performance. We've seen Steph do so many things here over the years, so many amazing nights at Oracle and now here at Chase, and it's just a privilege to coach him. It really is." After the scintillating performance in January, the chef had a repeat performance just 3 months back, and his latest victim was the Atlanta Hawks. Coming off a 20-point game against Houston, Steph unleashed a 50-point, 10-assist game the very next day against the Hawks, and the visiting team simply couldn't do anything to stop him. From long-range bombs to backdoor layups
They will be playing tomorrow in Utah.
Curry just kept getting any type of bucket at any given time. To cap off the amazing game, Curry finished the game on 50% shooting while hitting 9 3-pointers and knocking down all 13 of his freebies. He also grabbed 7 boards, 4 steals, and registered 1 block on the night where he became the oldest player to post a 50-10 game at age 33. Curry reflected on his performance in a post-game interview, and here's what he had to say. "It's kind of hard to say because obviously you made the first 2 and they were both in rhythm. The way the ball comes off your hand feels good. You just kind of stay in that moment, and every possession it starts to kind of build on the previous one. Maybe going into the half, the shot that got us within 4, the way the game had gone, you carried that momentum into the locker room. Came out in the third quarter, that's when you kind of started to wait for the avalanche to fall, and it did." And for the number 1 game in Steph's career, let's turn back the clock a bit here and revisit Halloween night back in 2015. On a night where people dress up as their favorite superheroes or villains and almost every kid in town shouting trick or treat, Curry was digging the full Halloween vibe in New Orleans and acted as if he was the Grim Reaper that took the souls out of the Pelicans by scoring 53 points, in which 28 of those came in the third quarter alone. Curry also shot 17 for 27 from the field, hit 8 3-pointers, 11 free throws, and he also added 9 assists, 4 rebounds, 4 steals to lead the Dubs to victory 134 to 120. The chef was just all over the place, and he even pulled some trick shots out of his sleeve to treat the crowd to a show like no other. Check these out.
Curry. What a handle. And a no look for him.
To Steph. Has got to beat Babbitt. Goes around the back to lay it in.
Despite AD's efforts of putting up 26 and 15, it just wasn't nearly enough to put out the flame that the Human Torch named Steph Curry just had. Fresh out of his first MVP season, Steph talked about his unwavering confidence as well as his mindset right after that performance. "I've always had confidence. You just get better as a player and try to make it to another level. So that's what I'm trying to do this year. I'm blessed to be healthy. I'm feeling pretty energetic, pretty strong out there on the floor, playing free, just having fun. So usually good things happen when all that comes together." Anyway guys, this video is over now, but I got another video that you gotta watch right here. It's called "Why Steph Might Be the Best Offensive Weapon Ever." And in this video, I analyze just exactly why this is true. It's an insane video that I know you'll love. So just click the video guys, and like always, I'll be on the other side.